Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is your Captain Mzege speaking. As we prepare for the takeoff, fasten your seatbelts, put your seats in an upright position, close overhead storages, and get ready for a takeoff. I'm with my co-pilot, Hauser. We are on TM023, runway critical thinking as always.
Okay.
My brother, imagine the ANC that works.
Yeah, you know, before, imagine ANC, just on a general tip.
Yes.
You know what I've realized, that generally in life, for everyone that seeks money or that wants to get income, any source of income. Basically, you are taking money from other people's if you get direct that you sleep you are in the battle of that. Everyone wants your children's bread to give to their children. When I realized that, I'm thinking, damn it, we are in that battle.
Yes. Actually,
the money that you're getting from other people, and that money should have gone to their children, because most people who are generating money in most cases or who are actively involved are people with really families or those that they look after or loved ones.
You are actually correct, because I've always been a thinker like that, which we all want the same things. The difference is the selfishness of your needs and your desires and your source.
Yeah.
But we all want the same thing.
Bottom line, you want
something
that should have gone to where you want it to go to yourself, for yourself.
For yourself.
Yeah.
So, which is some of us have the guts to take without feeling guilt.
That's why people don't have remorse when they want that bread for their children. But they forget that they are taking from away from those.
It's like Mozo Tonjelis Kibeu.
Yeah.
It's quite a Hey, Mojonjelis Kibeu Nasanis.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Yes.
It's his daily life.
And the thief is comfortable.
Yeah, it's like a world war.
Yes.
Everything must stop with whatever.
So that's the thinking. When you want money, you must know that you are taking it away from, you're taking bread of someone's children.
Someone's children.
Yeah, period.
Yeah.
And they want the bread of your children.
Yeah, so we all want the same thing. That's the Indian right, That's must not lock that mentality.
Let's slice this bread.
Yeah. If we can lock that mentality for maybe 5 years, imagine what we could achieve as South Africans. We're okay, guys.
In
the next 5 years, let's exchange resources, let's share bread. As Kwakilan, as Chonchilan.
Let the bread rotate.
Let the bread rotate.
Yeah.
Anyway, TM023, imagining the ANC that works. Very interesting.
Interesting topic, sensitive topic, emotional in a sense. And it's also sensitive. I mean, it's troubling, because if you imagine a working ANC, you tend to, I don't think many people really came to that realization. What if the ANC was working?
I don't think so too. I think maybe
ideally,
there's a few.
When you say working, you mean ideally.
Yeah, there's a very few people who could think that far.
Yeah.
No, I don't think. But I want to ask you a very interesting question.
Yeah.
Where do you think the strongest criticism of the ANC comes from?
Criticizing them of not doing the right things.
Yes.
Where it comes from? It comes from people who love it.
Thank you.
Yeah, no.
I fully agree.
Look, for the fact that we've conceived this idea, we've got love for its origins. I strongly believe. We are all the children of ANC.
Yeah,
apart from the obvious.
The historic value and image is very solid to ignore.
Yeah, their origins, are strong, good roots.
Extremely.
So we might as well get into it.
Yeah, so in essence, we are not discussing why the bad side of the ANC.
Yeah.
We are going to take off with what are the right things that could have been done.
Maybe with that said, let's just highlight each enemy with what are the
Yeah, our takeoff on the topic is going to be why this topic. That would be the first one.
Yeah.
And then secondly would be
the glory days.
The glory days of the organization. And then 3 would be the decline.
4.
And then 4 would be an ideal ANC discussion.
The imagination comes in.
The imagination will just unpack our views.
Yeah.
And then as our tradition, then we'll go to a desktop and then we do our 1-minute pitch and then we do our take home and then we land.
Yeah.
Over to you, my brother.
Yeah, the why this topic. Yeah, I mean, I've already highlighted what is sensitive. Maybe I can just expand. And we also highlighted what the critic or the demand of them doing better comes from a loving position.
Yes, of course.
It's sad, and the irritation is because there's love for ANC and not necessarily individuals. The idea of the ANC itself, what it stands for, what its origins are, right? So those things make you want to have a discussion with what if things went the right way for it. Where would we be if today? So
I don't know what this is doing to your mind, but to me it's doing something.
What would you be doing if ANC did the right things? Where do you think you'd be when a person and what would you be doing in an ideal environment that where the ANC is doing well, or ideally well, or reasonably well, right? So it's not an argument that they are not doing idealistically okay. We can't debate that. Because
I have a word for them.
Yeah.
I call them functional alcoholics.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Inside, they are killing. They're damaging inside.
Yeah.
But on the outside,
hey, look, they look happening.
Yeah, they can tell you all the right things. Which is why, if they ran the country like they run campaigns, we would have been very, very, very far.
I agree. I mean, I was trying to deal with the reasons for being disappointed.
Yeah.
Right. Just generally.
Yes.
They might come and say, "This is what we've done," and good and fair, there are things that they have done. Now the question is that good enough? Is that deserving of the magnitude and the resources that you had and the promises that you've made? Does what you've called achievement equate to what we would say it's idealistic? By idealistic, it means you had the apparatus, state apparatus, right? You had at some point 1/3 majority to turn things around. With that power, do you think what you have done today does equate or have a balance?
Does that equation balance?
Yeah.
I don't think it balances.
It's not a thinking, it does not.
It doesn't.
You don't have to think. It does not balance. Let's say, for an example, for someone who's struggling with this argument, is that think of how many, let's talk houses. Let's forget about any other thing that they are supposed to do. Houses. They can say, for an example, I'm going to throw numbers for the sake of reasoning this thing out.
Yeah.
Let's say they say we have, or let's use electricity. We gave 90% people access to electricity. When you leave it at that, it's an achievement. But when you start poking at that achievement and say, how consistent is that access? Right? And should the access be 90% today? What's wrong with the 10%?
Yeah, why leave the 10 hanging?
Yeah. And then we go to, because we management accounting, we stocks and rates, right? There is what you have at the end of what you are doing in a bucket. and there's a rate in which you fill the bucket. Let's say it's water inside the bucket. So it's how many scoops per second do you do to fill up the bucket, and how long does the bucket gets the time to be filled up? So the rates in which you do things, they are critical more than what you will tell me what's inside the bucket. I don't know if I'm making sense. I can bring it home.
No, I when you are telling the story, in my head I'm thinking about the operation of the car engine, that the petrol has to come at a certain rate in order for the engine to start and
for the performance to be optimum.
For the performance to be optimum, it means there has to be an understanding, a link between the income of petrol and the performance.
Bringing it to the STEM, which is the topic.
Yeah.
They say we brought BEE, right? And then how many people benefited from the BEE compared to the number of people that we think should be in percentage of the population?
Instead of BEE, they should have implemented GBB. GBB is a philosophy of evaluating and being consistent and intentional of good, better, and best.
Fair enough. I think when we come to enhancement of things that they're supposed to do, which is under the imagination.
Okay, we'll talk.
Please keep it. I don't want. I was tempted to tap into that.
No stress.
So now we've expressed why the topic, and we've overstretched the reasons.
Okay.
So we cannot overcook it.
All right. So
now let's go to the glory days.
To the glory days. The glory days in Mfethu are so memorable.
Yeah, let's go historically. What do you remember from? What's your day one of the ANC?
I remember listening to Oliver Tambo.
Yeah.
My understanding of the language was not that good, but I could sense that this man is talking about something that he loves dearly.
Yeah.
It's talking about something that is related to freedom. It's talking about something that is related to societal benefit. He's talking about, he's passionate about taking people out of depression and poverty. Oppression. That was my first attraction. I remember I was sitting with my grandfather, and he was watching.
What year do you think that was?
I was in high school, so I must have been. That must have been 9.
So the ANC
late 80s.
Beat you in your high school days.
Yes.
Look, I had it early. If I were to offset from your thinking, which is a beautiful way of pitching of answering the question, what's your day one of the ANC? You young recalibrator. So you made me think deeply. It was very emotional to even go there. Because my day one.
When was it?
It was maybe grade between 3, 4, and 5. What grade is that? So you just had 2. 5, it's 7.
Yeah. Standard 10.
Grade 7, grade 6.
10 is grade 12.
Let's say grade 5, 6, and 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. ANC was introduced through the one song. Kevla Kichima.
Yabona manje ke uyangilimaza ke ama-social lezo.
Yeah.
Because imfundo yakho
well, it's in. There's a part that I used to like.
Angisayikhumbuli mara mawuthi Kevla Kichima.
There's a part where it says my dad is called a boy, like Usebenza Makishini or something. In the very same lines. I remember singing that song because Bensua coming from moving from Rockville to stay in Mabeka, and most of my peers then, age group, were not into influence because they were Sutus. I think they were still level. So they would ask me to sing that song, and when I was
so you were
I would be ash, and I would feel. You see, what NC won the hearts of people is through music, and people don't really recognize that.
Yeah,
have you been in a tent of a night vision? My man, there's a spirit there that's roaming around.
You know when you say night vision.
Political. There's a night vision of church, especially Zion. It's got
its own. I'm talking about political night vision.
Someone who was a comrade died,
and then we were there. on the night vision. The day before the funeral.
That's what I'm going to say. If you've never been there, it will never make sense. So we can't even give you a sense of what that means.
No, you will only imagine, but
ANC captured the many through songs. That's the first point of entry to the ANC. Truly, if the entry point to a man's heart, it's his stomach.
It's his stomach.
That's the NC's stomach.
I agree fully with you on that one, because I experienced the singing.
Yeah. Even today, I mean, EFF. I'm sorry to digress. EFF captures people through that. So if you want to capture black people,
EFF is a baby of the ANC. Julius, I mean, comes from ANC.
Yeah, that's why in Parliament they sing. But that's the day one. So that's then. Then we had to then go back and read between 1912 and 1914 is formation as an early resistance party. It had elite people. The elite, I'm talking about people who are in a category of literate, educated,
independent thinkers.
Yeah, people who had what most people could not have education-wise. Bob Priestley, Womoroka back then. These were stalwarts that had in-depth knowledge of the world, generally speaking, not just political.
But all of
long before Mandela.
I was about to say that with all of that knowledge existed.
And they were smart at a very early age. Like at 21, 22, they were like our 50-year-olds today. They were reasoning like, you see how we are reasoning
at this
late
age.
40s and early 50s. But they had it in their
20s.
I know these guys know they were blessed. Despite their position they were in.
I don't know if I've told you this story about documentaries and speeches of Steve Biko.
I remember. At that age. The reasoning was too sharp now.
Which
cognitive,
which makes you
capabilities.
It makes you see why they killed him.
IQ, EQ, calibrated at the highest level.
Mamela, this guy was not a lawyer, but in a magistrate court when he was charged, he had the ability to challenge people who were qualified in the profession.
Talking about that, let's ask the question, what influenced them to have that those capabilities? What are the contributing factors for one to reason at that level?
When you convert, what's this word? When you convert pain into purpose, that's what happens. You take your whole pain.
I didn't see that one coming.
You take that entire pain, and you channel it. Uguti, this pain is there for a reason. This pain is a vehicle to drive me from this point to that point. That is why they never failed.
We are robbed. Let me tell you why we are robbed. When they tell these people stories, you see, let me take you back. When you develop a character, we movie or we TV series, right? We film, right? When you do character development, when you are pitching a character that is intelligent, you also want to give a viewer what contributed to that intelligence. You go to certain scenes in a particular way.
Of course.
So that you don't doubt the fact that this character
is smart.
When they tell us about our heroes, they don't go to that level, where they read us.
Yeah, we are not given the seed.
Yeah, where they raised by people who are smart.
I mean, there were parents before they existed.
Exactly. How did the environment influenced?
We don't know what the parents did for those kids, Bomorokas, your Priestley.
Yes.
For them to
be in the
upbringing. But what would you guess? Let's say you were given an opportunity to guess.
It's a good question. I would say it's a combination of many things. Let's start with the household influence, right? Parents then, I think, were very
structured. It was an optimally structured.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you go to rural areas, even today, they are Nesizulu Chula. So if you talk to Xhosas in particular, and the Zulus, mostly, I did interact much with the Tsongas and Shangans, and Vendors, but I don't find what I'm going to explain now to others, except for Zulus and Xhosas. Xhosas even take the cup. As young as a kid could be 12 years old and female, their reasoning capacity is something else. They could fail in other things, like being promiscuous, which is ubachajarach, right? Apart from that, they have a strong sense of self.
Yeah, and I understand.
That's why when they go to tertiary levels, as young as they would be at 15, 16, they would go there, and by many numbers or by majority, they would go through record time in terms of accomplishing their studies. Xhosas, that is, in my experience. We might share different experiences.
No, I concur with that, because I understand the importance that culture plays, which is one of the topics we've discussed, that a detachment from your native and your identity will always work against you. Look at the dominant races. They are so attached to their culture, they are inseparable.
It's done. It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
I'm happy you...
It doesn't need to be prettified. If you didn't catch it, then rewind. Rewind and come back to this point. It's a wrap. So let's go back.
Let's go back to the step.
The Tory days are the starting point, are the origins, the people that came in, right?
Yes.
And fast forward, that it's how they've managed to build structures, right, of the ANC, how they've influenced people to buy into the ANC, how they've dealt with competition, not of whites, but of the similar ethnic groups, blacks and colors.
Another point I want to add in your statement is the ability or the intelligence to understand the importance of alliance in that era.
Yes, that's capacity.
Yes. Look at the alliances that they had.
I mean, they battled with PAC and other movements. There were colored movements that were the Indian movements, right? But they managed to capture them. If you remember when they went to the one that was signed at Cape Town, Freedom Charter. The Freedom Charter was alliance. It expressed exactly what your point. It's a portfolio of evidence of your theory.
Yes, which they had the thinking.
Churches.
And the churches.
They mastered the art of classifying their sector, right, constituency-wise. They are people on the ground, which are your security, your cleaners, that group.
Yeah.
They managed to appeal to that group proper.
And which was in the majority.
Yes. Right?
Yeah.
And they managed to appeal even to the generic group that was not necessarily working, or you wouldn't classify it in any form. They managed to have an appeal to them. They managed to appeal to professionals.
They managed to appeal.
Whether you are a doctor, whether you are a PhD graduate, professor, they would whether you are black or white in the professional space, they would appeal to you, and they would win you over. The glory days of the ANC.
The glory days of the ANC.
They will appeal to gender. Before we had the alphabet group, but alphabet community. But they appealed to youth. They appealed, that's why they were the first to come up with those structures. Youth League, Women's League. They prioritized those things as if they were in the first world country.
We are not supposed to be in this position. We are not supposed to fail with such historic value. Something went wrong.
We are going there.
Okay.
So we are saying those were the glory days. The glory days are structural.
Actually, I feel very sad at this moment, but I'll get out of it.
Yeah.
Because the reality makes me feel like I have not done justice as an individual.
There's a song that my uncle used to play. Now today that song has a way to really make me think of not only the political climate, but think of my before existence and beyond existence. bahleli bonke.
But
But kunale version, LP, it sounds as if they've got a different pitch or how they would project their voices. Right? I still have that LP. And you know that song, it's got something, especially the version. There are many versions.
Yeah.
I must make you listen to the version that I know that I was indoctrinated.
Yeah.
That song made me understand the ANC sitting at home in my uncle's dining room. I was young, but I could feel its power. It's as if Benzel Lusaka, Angola. I felt like I was in Angola. I felt like I was in the trenches. When they were talking about what you call when you go abroad,
exile. Yeah.
When they would mention exile, it's as if I went there and I came back.
When you listen to that song, it must be very powerful.
Those were the glory days.
Yeah.
That's how powerful. Coca-Cola doesn't come close to the power of ANC in terms of marketing.
No. Look, those two are uncomparable.
Yeah. The glory days.
The glory days, guys, the glory days are self-highlighting. They are there, they exist, they are real.
You could tell,
we could talk about glory days. Yeah, we could talk the whole day until the sun sets. That's why we miss the stem a bit when we talk about glory days, because we were part of those glory days.
Yeah, no. We were raised in those glory days. We were born in the glory
we are bringing it to you. We are reminding you.
Depending on your age group.
Yeah, we are reminding you, even if you were not there, but this is a friendly reminder that let's also try to move forward in reference to the glory days.
Yes, yeah. Now coming to our reality, which is then the decline. Ne? Historically, there's a decline in ANC, ne? Which comes from aspects, I'll name them: political discipline, ideology, leadership, their efforts for planning, structural institutions, and intellectual activism.
I would like to.
I want us to talk about the decline.
About the decline, eh?
I don't want us to be too technical.
No, let's not be too technical or too emotional. I want to put something to your mind before we get into that.
Into the decline.
Into the decline. A small child, before they run, they have to crawl. They have to crawl, they have to walk and fall, get injured, recover, and then start walking freely first, confidently, before they even run.
And incorporate running.
And incorporate running at some point after all of this. What if the decline is part of the journey? Yes. What if the decline is one chapter of the entire book?
Yeah, listen. Those theories do exist, by the way, but the word is debunk, right? Which is to counter that argument. Is that historically, in Africa, there's no these political parties, freedom fighters, liberating or liberation political parties. What's the right word to name the type of political parties that freed people? Liberation parties or something like that.
Okay, let's use liberation parties for now. I know the word will come.
Yeah.
As we
there's no party of that category that has managed to fall and came back up. So they say numbers don't lie. So then the argument comes, which I also agree with. ANC is not an exception.
No, it's not an exception. I'll tell you why I'm asking you this question.
Before you come back, do you understand?
I understand. The counter
response.
I understand.
Okay, perfect.
I understand it fully.
Perfect.
As much as I understand, I don't agree with it.
Yeah.
Hence, I'm making an example.
No, you are being hopeful. None of the show is not absolute. So it's a hopeful statement. What if it's a downfall that they're going to recover and come back to their authority?
No. I'm not talking about ANC only. I'm talking about ANC and us as a whole, as South Africans.
No. Okay, fine. You have to distinguish us from the South Africans.
Okay,
from
South Africans who are ANC.
Not everyone is ANC.
Yeah, not everyone is ANC.
Yeah.
But I don't want to move away from the stem of the decline. For Germany to be the best producer of the top four, like your VW, your Audi, your BMW, and your Porsche, they had to go to the World War.
But it's a different.
I understand, but what I'm trying to say is let
me calibrate.
A lot of
if you
wrongs happened.
Allow me. Their wrong was to sideline Jews and kill them. What any other wrong can you associate with Germans, with Hitler to be particular?
Hitler was not only.
No, I'm saying be direct.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking.
Yeah, be direct. Apart from hating Jews.
Yeah.
And doing what they did to them, what other wrong would you associate with that generation?
I would say.
Let me fast track.
Okay.
Yeah, let me come. This is the reason why. Let me tell you why. In their battle to fight, and the world fought with Germans because of their cruelty towards the Jewish or the Jews, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then they had to fight on behalf of the Jews for injustice, right? So they had to fight back, and them fighting back, it then meant that they must step up to technology. So they needed to have an absolute advantage on technology for them to be absolute in terms of victory to fight the world, right? So in so doing, everything that you've mentioned to Porsche was the seed then. So you have a generation that understands science and maths.
The dynamics are different. I accept. I take the point. It's true. But we cannot move away. We can't move away from the fact that something wrong that is big must happen.
I understand the logic of the wrong.
Okay.
But when I'm arguing the type of wrong, what is the ANC learning with their wrong? That will then be a handover to the next generation, even if it comes in a different form. Even if it comes as an Action XSA or it comes as an EFF or an MK, because they are all children of the ANC.
Yeah.
So German today, they are children of this thing made a mess on my hands. They are the German we know, the Germans we know today. They come from the Germans that we don't like, which was led by Hitler. You can't separate them.
No, you can't.
By DNA.
And you can't take away that identity of Germans.
The wrongs that or rather the Germans committed, the wrongs that were committed by the Hitler then, they had the rights in them, which is technology. We've identified that.
Yeah.
That was handed over to the next generation that emerged as a different German.
Yes.
What is it that is similar the ANC would hand over to the next generation?
Yeah, that's the biggest mistake that they did. Uguti, there was no handover strategy.
Yeah, but I'm coming to your point, Uguti. Their fall could be a blessing in disguise. I'm looking for that blessing. What do you think is going to be?
That blessing is our responsibility to magnify and resuscitate.
Yeah, but I'm saying what we gave the blessing of the German a name, and we said technology.
Yeah.
It's got a name.
Yeah.
Give the ANC's blessing a name.
Disaster.
So there's no blessing.
Yeah, there is none. We agree.
Yeah. So,
we agree.
So closing.
Yeah, there's none.
Their downfall. It's you can't recover from it. And I know my benefits. It's got the lessons of not what to do.
Okay. They
I get
what you're saying.
My counter to
their downfall they cannot recover.
Doesn't have any unintended advantages.
Yes. So
I know.
When I accept your statement, I want to clarify something. When we say their downfall is not recoverable, we are talking about the era of individuals who were in leadership positions. Those leaders will never recover. But no, I'm talking about the ones who are part of the ANC that contributed to the decline.
Yeah, I don't want you to bring a point and then when we investigate it or interrogate it, you bring another point that's kicking the can down the road.
Okay.
You get what I'm
maybe. So let's first deal with this one.
With your point. Your point was, let me remind you, is that what if this downfall is a blessing to their greatness as in ANC itself?
Maybe you misunderstood me. It's not a greatness that is associated with the past.
No, I'm not saying with the past. What if their downfall that is happening to them now, it's a chapter in their life cycle as an ANC, which means it will then elevate them and make them come at the end victorious.
Not as ANC, as something else.
Even if it comes as Action SA, as just exactly that, it doesn't matter in whatever form. What is it that we can take from the ANC that has given us to be powerful?
Panamara, we've just mentioned it now.
I'm asking
the history,
the reason why we have
the valuable history that we talk about. That's emotional.
That's why I need it.
I said it myself. That's a point of reference for us to move forward.
So that we know.
I'll come up with the name at some point. Yeah.
So a decline now, it's not questionable. It's not debatable.
It's not debatable. It's a fact.
It's a decline.
Yeah.
And we're gonna go to the desktop and verify the decline in numbers, in stats.
Yeah, the decline is it's undisputed.
Yeah, no, remember, I'm being a devil's advocate.
Okay.
Right? I know how to switch to be in their favor and I know how to switch to be against
them.
Now let's go to be in their favor and get to the chapter of imagining.
Okay.
What are the things that you think they should have took from history, which is now coming to the point. Now I'm bringing you in.
Yeah.
I was not saying what you are saying is wrong. I wanted you to elaborate and give us something to
substance.
Yeah. So now let's go with. Maybe now it's gonna come more clearer. What is it that they needed to take from the old generation, this ANC, to retain? So we are starting to imagine them working. So it means they must have something for them to work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let me give you. There's political discipline.
Okay.
In their making, right? There's political ideology in their making. Nkuniga ama reference or top points that you could use to thresh out the answer. You could use their leadership experience. You could use the institutional formation or intellectual activism. So let's start with intellectual activism, so that I guide you to your answer, to bring up your answer. In terms of intellectual activism, what is it that you think they could have retained throughout from the glory days to now?
Intellectual activism, they could have adopted the selfless traits that existed in the intellectuality of those guys who were in the past. They were more of benefits to the society before me.
Yeah, let me come and add so that we're
on the same page.
We check for this topic. Intellectual, I think what they should have retained, it's what AFF is trying to making education fashionable. So you mean you cannot come into the ANC's leadership without a substantive qualification as a prerequisite. Doesn't matter how intelligent you are, because you want that culture to be retained throughout, beyond your existence. So prioritizing intellects, they have a lot to do with body of knowledge of some sort or form. So you're an intellect because of the book.
Fair enough. Yeah, you've got a valid point.
Yeah. So then let's move to institutional
respect. Institutional respect.
Yeah. What is it that you think they needed to take?
I can't think of anything now. Maybe you can elaborate further on the
institution is the formation of the organization, right? Making a point that initially the institution embraced white people and colors. They should have prioritized that even further. They should not be complacent when they lose one single white person. It should be a problem. Because one, it's a family. You lose one father in a household, the whole family is gone. So they should have made efforts to retain white people inside the organization, inside the institutions. Well, they've managed to keep the structure of women's stalwarts. They didn't do well with the stalwarts. They sidelined them because they don't want to listen to the elders. Started a long time ago. They also failed, they also kept the women's league, the youth league. When they killed the youth league, Rada Julius. So those are the things that they should have retained without compromise, institutionally.
Okay.
That's institutional discipline.
Okay.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
And then political ideology.
Political ideology.
What do you think ANC's ideology is? Political. Remember,
political. I think their ideology is free. People must be free.
Free market system.
Yeah, free market system, democracy.
With a bit of socialism.
But freedom for all, basically.
Yeah.
Is what I think was the initial.
Pro-poor, but mixed with
middle class.
I think it's neoliberalism. Neoliberalism, meaning you are leaning towards capitalism or entertaining interests of capitalists. Right? You can Google neoliberalism. So they are a combination. So it means there's something that they did not lean or take from as its origins to now, which is the prioritizing of the poor. So they're using the poor to feed the rich. And in this case, the rich whites who are not ANC. Funny enough. It's my observation. I don't have receipts for it.
Yeah.
Well, there are evidence, by the way. Evidence are in the sealed donation to people that donated for the campaign. Karamapos. So if we can open that, we can then conclude on this theory or test this theory or these arguments.
Okay, so here's another question now. Do you think the decline that we're talking about is an internal... Let me finish my question. Do you think the decline is an internal malfunctioning or there's external influences?
Yeah, no, we've tackled the decline. We are imagining a working ANC.
Okay, no, sorry, man. Yeah. The working ANC.
Yes.
For it to have all the decline and all the things we've discussed.
Yeah.
What I'm asking you is the current imagination that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Do you think it's an internal dysfunction or it
is internal because of is also you're right.
Or there's another option.
Yeah.
Or there is an external force that is influencing. That's injecting poison.
Yeah. No, the simple answer to that is that the internal dysfunction is influenced by external factors.
Okay, then we find. I wanted to clarify that.
Your typical capitalist that retain the minerals resources, our minerals resources, they still kept their
power.
They kept the ANC in their payroll.
Okay, fair enough. I'm answered.
So there are things that I said they needed to retain. We talk of intellectual activism, we talk of institutional discipline, now we're talking of ideology. I was asking about the ideology, right?
Yeah.
What politically they views of social digress. So we never came back to this.
Okay, let's go back to this there.
So the ideology were the things that they need to retain. I think what they needed to retain and amplified, it's being pro-black, and then expansion of beneficiation, a policy away PE, or what it does not have to benefit their cadres only. First.
Yeah, that was the wrong
He has never benefited a South African who's not an ANC. I'm trying to demonstrate.
Yeah.
Its shortfalls.
It's got a lot of shortfalls.
Yeah, so let me make it shortfalls. Back then, Umadiba would help Oliver Tambo through their legal practice. They will help anyone and everyone. You didn't need to be an ANC member. Do you know that?
Which was a good strategy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They should have retained those ideologies.
Yeah, all South Africans, because the constitution.
It is for that matter.
It does not say ANC members.
Yeah.
Constitution says.
It doesn't even say South Africans. It says all
those who live in it.
Yeah. Doesn't say citizens. But anyway.
So they make sure it's only cadres who benefit from this.
So with lack of political discipline, you then have these situations. But if NC is working, and we are imagining a working NC, they will have highly educated people that we envy. That will be. I'm reflecting back to what they used to be.
Yeah.
Should everyone that we envy that is educated, and you see this person is highly educated and they are rich, so you equate those two things. So you want to first get educated, so you know you are guaranteed of the riches.
The riches.
So imagine you can put education away of any form and gun for the riches. Then you have tenderpreneurs. Then you have them as proxies in all these board of directors of companies that are supporting income, whether it's MTN or whatever.
Look,
find NC people there.
I think there's something we need to clarify and make sure it's well understood. Cadre deployment as a phrase, there's nothing wrong with cadre deployment, because even apartheid did their cadre deployment of their own. But their cadre deployment was well managed and monitored and had a locked system in order for the service delivery and the progression to be visible.
With that thinking, answer what would be idealistic with a working ANC with cadre deployment. What features and how do you think it should be?
Firstly, there was supposed to be a clause that when you get a BEE deal, you are supposed to adopt a financial responsibility of a child who does not.
No, mentor. Let's
mentorship. We can just say mentorship as one word.
Yeah.
Mentorship, but with a financial gain.
Yeah, it's upliftment.
Yeah, upliftment.
You are mentored to uplift.
Yes.
Yeah, but I'm saying before you even align by the cadre deployment, you must qualify to be a cadre. What qualifications do you think are relevant for cadres?
Look,
there's minimum requirements in anything.
There's minimum requirements. Hence, I'm saying, Uguti, the cadre deployment was not entirely a wrong idea. It was not well managed, in my view.
I've heard that. I'm saying, if cadre has to work, and we are engineering that argument.
Yeah.
If cadre has to work, to be a cadre, you can't just be a cadre.
You can't just be a cadre.
What's the minimum what's the criteria of being a cadre in your understanding, man?
Now?
Yeah.
No, there's no criteria. It's because
I'll tell you what it is.
You were there with them.
There is a criteria.
Okay.
Patronage.
Okay. The patronage, yes,
yeah.
You've got a point. And nepotism, which comes back to my point, Uguti. Even the apartheid government did that. They did their nepotism, but it was managed.
That's what I'm asking. What are the mechanisms of management in Cadre deployment?
Yeah, look.
So I'm proposing one.
Yeah.
First in line, it's the qualification of a cadre. A cadre must have some bare minimum, because uzoba deployee into state institutions like you're going to be a minister or an MEC. So you need to have a minimum qualification. So you cannot be a cadre. Doesn't matter how smart you are. As a matter of principle, with your smartness, go get a bachelor's degree, for crying out loud.
Okay. Yes, I agree with education 100%. And proximity association, your deputy has to be someone who is more informed about the field that you are in.
That is probably in the periphery of the cadre deployment, as you've raised it as an argument. There's nothing wrong with cadre. It's a policy. Cadre deployment is a policy to the house. Right?
Yeah.
So it means we take people and we deploy them to certain functions.
Yes.
In particular, state institutions. So then, in us having you in the table of cadres, of other cadres, you must qualify to sit around the table. That's my point.
There must be a minimum requirement.
Two, you must have a particular experience and training that will link you up with where we are deploying you.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm coming to your point. If a working ANC, if a ANC would be imagining a working ANC, it will focus on cadre deployment policy and development as they focus on running a campaign of getting votes. They will give it that attention. And it will be prioritized in that. And the reason why I think it's not prioritized is because it allows hyenas on the table. You cannot survive without scavengers in the wilderness.
Scavengers are always there.
Yeah.
You can't.
If there's a carcass, they will come.
Yeah, they will come. And they don't announce.
Yeah. So to manage our scavengers, and if they have to be part of the ecosystem, they must be fed. So meaning they must be contained like in a zoo and be given food as and when. So they should not roam around and get into offices.
The effect.
They can't be given a free roll.
The effects of a free roll are too dangerous.
Yeah.
And they're too messy.
I think that's why infiltration and the ANC is not what we think it's supposed to be, because it was infiltrated by scavengers.
But I think that we should not act brand new. We need to be realistic to what happened. These people they were in exile, were prisoners, they were in the army. They were not exposed as much as the white government were exposed at the time of negotiation on the handover. They did not know what is happening.
Experience, that's what you are saying.
Yeah, there was no experience at all.
That's my argument.
So we can't expect different results from them.
That's my argument. I mean, imagine we're discussing a working ANC.
Yeah.
What should happen for it to work? We are not criticizing it, right, for its current state. If it has to work, it must have a strong criteria in having cadres, and it must make sure that they are exposed to interventions that will assist with the experience that you're talking about. A working ANC.
A working ANC.
Not the ANC that we know right now.
No.
The one that we are imagining.
No,
so our imagination should not be linked to what is happening right now.
Yeah, the one we are imagining is the one that is worried about grooming the youth.
Yeah, you know, we're even struggling. That's how we are tormented by ANC. We are even struggling to come up, to imagine a better working ANC. We always go back to their deficiencies. Have you noticed?
Yeah, but that's the reality of the situation.
Yeah, no. I'm saying our reality now, me and you right now sitting here, we should be able to imagine it and come up with proposition that will say this is what should happen for it to work. We are struggling to get there because we are tormented. We always go back and discuss their weaknesses.
Okay.
That's what I'm picking up. It's damaged.
I accept the damage.
Let's calibrate for a minute or two, right?
Yeah.
What are the things, quickly, because of time, that you would think would be good indicators of a working ANC? I can guide that discussion. There's employment, there's GDP, there's corruption, there's infrastructure, there's state institution, there's with parliament, 3 phases of Ileduzan. It's executive, judiciary, legislature. I've just thrown things that you could use to say in legislature this should be an indicator. In employment, in whatnot. So in your creativity right now,
my point
indicators of a working ANC.
A working ANC would be a primary effort on education for all. The education system is the seed to a lot of other things else, because when you are an independent thinker, you have the ability to remove emotions from reality or from what needs to happen. You are able to apply your mind without fear or favor. With independent thinking comes a lot. So an ANC that works would have magnified efforts into education.
So the question is, what would be an indicator of education? What are the things that you would say education should be this and that, and that means the ANC is the working ANC?
Yeah, but I'm giving you that answer. With education should be a primary thing that relates to the history. Wait. I can't answer you in your way.
No. You have to answer me in my way.
Yeah.
You have to align to the question. The question is, what is an indicator that should say this education should at least have a pass rate of this, should have this kind of education that influence this kind of thinking, it should be free for all. Those are the indicators.
But that's what I'm saying.
But
education,
and I'll show you what you're saying. Come, I'm waiting for you.
Education must be primary. It must be free for all South Africans.
Now you're talking to me. Come, let's go.
Go where?
Yeah, essentially.
No, I'm only going
free. It's an indicator.
Yeah,
it's a
free education for all.
Yeah, it's an indicator. Good indicator.
Lectures must be South Africans.
It's an indicator. Nice. Now we're moving nicely.
Yeah.
We're cruising nicely.
And then there must be food for children.
At school. Good indicator at primary level.
At primary level, there has to be at least one meal.
And that meal must be by design healthy.
Yeah, and then in the very same schooling system, you must also include health, activities, sports.
Because it's in our components, it's an indicator with sub-indicators.
With sub-indicators, yes.
Yeah. So what else do you think economically? What would be the best indicators? GDP to now it's below 1%.
Yeah, and that's not good enough.
What would GDP be and influenced by? At some point we had, I think, 5% growth.
Yes. Our gross domestic product was on average when Mbeki was in charge.
Currently, let's offset it to other countries, right? I think Rwanda has plus 4% GDP.
Currently.
Yeah, currently. I think China has 10%.
No, China is way ahead of us.
Yeah, and I'm just giving you benchmark.
Right?
China, we are less than 1% with the infrastructure that we have. Okay? Fine.
And the resources.
Yeah, so fine. Let's put a number. Let's say if we were cruising at 5% GDP growth, right? What will be the influencer in that GDP to be 5%?
The influencer would be education as well.
Yeah, I don't say it could be education. I'm saying that will benefit the economy. Fine, education will then bring about skills that are needed. But sectors, industries, maybe.
Okay.
So let me start. Institutions would be, public institutions would be optimal, working at an optimum level. That's one, right? Funding and incentives for starting a business, would be cumbersome, even retaining it, including subsidies for you to access the market and do better and go and compete with the oligopolies of these South Africans, your Checkers, your KPMGs in different sectors, would be not a mountain to set up. economically speaking. So it means the business part of things would be looked into with incubations. So we will have a lot of incubators, business incubations or incubators, right? That will allow people to access the market and develop and be innovative. Innovation.
Yeah.
I mean, the ability or the interventions that an idealistic NC would have maybe deployed would allow people to compete internationally global. So they'll be able to automate, right? And they'll be able to come about with the right systems for any kind of business that they would want to run, right? I mean, generally, in essence, they will be sophisticated.
Do you think the ANC invested some money on research on how to counter apartheid?
Yeah, but that's a good question. Then the follow-up probing question to that, if they were to do a research, they are doing it under state institutions or they are doing it under the Tuli House as a period. Remember, there are two.
Yeah, there's government, there's
a political Tuli House offices, and I bet in the Tuli House there's nothing much that these people do apart from planning to get into the state apparatus and do what they're doing.
Yeah, I don't think
that research you're talking about millions are in the Tuli House, but I don't think the Tuli House has the right capabilities, which is what we have established.
Yeah, no, they don't.
Yona is collectively.
Yeah, Yona collective, in its entirety.
The only time you get to see ANC's little bit of their capabilities is when you put them into state there. Yeah. Put them in the state institutions, like the Minister of Electricity, a few of their ministers that you will see at least giving a good front of good intellect or sound intellect. You know? But when you take them out of the state institutions and put them into the house, they cannot display their intellectual prowess.
Yeah, a diluted leadership of a private sector and ANC would actually help a lot. As a rule, as a principle, that in every institution that is owned by the government, it has to be in alliance with the private sector in terms of operation improvements.
Yeah, a benchmark.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's a good indicator. Another indicator of an idealistic ANC, it's the ability to gel with other political parties. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, the ability to bring them into specific ideologies that will benefit South Africa and be able to remember you talk of how they mastered the alliance. Strategic alliances.
But do you think that will ever happen?
Yeah, that's another question.
That's another question because
that's a different, totally another question. It's a valid question, but yeah, look.
I mean, we have, how many political parties do we have now? More than 20.
More than 200.
No, I'm saying 20.
Yeah, more than 200. There's a lot.
There's a lot of political parties, which is unnecessary.
Yeah, but imagine if they retained their ability to work with others, whether in converting them or in collaboration with them.
But I think we must start there. There has to be a restart on the number of political parties.
Yeah, but that's a different argument.
Yeah, it's a
valid argument, yes. You rather throw it into our stem by saying what the ANC should do as an indicator of a better ANC in alliance.
Yeah, look, now the country,
they should be able to, their ability to collaborate, right? Whether in converting or in association, right? Hear me first.
Okay.
Whether in conversion or in association, meaning when I convert you, you are becoming ANC.
Yeah.
Whether as a tripartite,
as an ally.
Yeah, right? Or as an associate.
Okay.
We agree on certain things that we move together. That becomes then the GNU type situation, right? If they had the good ability in the Tuli House, they would focus. In the Tuli House would have people that are deployed to what about state institutions or state apparatus, right? Even when you breed that worries about political configuration, which is what we're talking about. How do we convert other political parties? How do we say the same things with other politics? How do we make our alliances happy? The SACP, you know? How do we make them happy? Then they will focus into that and put resources. They have resources to really run their engine in that sense. So an idealistic NC would be the NC that prioritizes our collaborations and associations with others.
And stop the stomach thinking.
That's another issue that they have at the bottom of the food chain. But there is through the lenient criteria that is used for cadre deployment. Cadre deployment, it gives scavengers. This is what I call scavengers.
Cadre deployment has to be changed completely. The principle of cadre deployment has to be changed.
Yeah. So if we are coming back to the STEM again.
Yeah.
Our suggestions of what should happen should be in an imagination. If cadre deployment was working, we've already touched on what it should look like.
Okay.
It should have a criteria, it should have minimum requirements, and part of it should be education at this bachelor's degree.
Yeah.
In any field of study.
Okay.
And then alignment, when we deploy you, you are aligned. If you are interested and you love sports and you've got qualification in sports, we'll align you there. And at the same time, we will then empower you in experience. Right? It means succession plan, and a working NC will have a good succession plan. Already we know who is going to be our minister in the next 10 years now. So already they are deputizing, which is the point you are trying to make, you're trying to bring on forth. The experience that these people must get, our deputies must be not for people who are already in their prime time, should be for the youth.
Yebo.
So you deputize, every deputy must have a under 25 or under 30.
Yeah, there must be a deputy compulsory, a young deputy.
Deputies must not be over 30. Over 50.
Even 50 is too much. Deputies must be below. We can't be deputies. I'm a head of departments.
Yes.
50 is half a century. We don't have 50 more years to live.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yeah, given.
We have 30 more years.
Even if you have more 50 years, it's not productive.
It's not productive.
Yeah. So you have to 10, 15 years.
So you can't put someone like that.
I agree. So a working NC indicator would deputize, or will have deputies of youth, will prioritize the youth.
Will prioritize the youth as deputies.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess that's idealistic, Zakela. We've managed to imagine a working ANC.
Yes.
An idealistic ANC.
An idealistic ANC.
Yeah, it was not too technical. So in our desktop, a quick one.
Let's go to the desktop.
Yeah,
yes.
A quick one in our desktop. This actually a spectrum that between excellence and failure.
Okay.
In leadership quality and indicator. Leadership quality is an indicator. A strong NC and a weak NC, that's what we are doing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So the spectrum is between strong and weak.
Yes. And
then the indicators is the component. In quality, high skilled and mission driven, it's a strong NC. A weak NC, it's factional and survival driven.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
A cadre deployment, a strong NC, strategic placement of capable people. That's strong ANC. A weak ANC, it's loyalty over competence. Under political culture, a strong NC will be a discipline and accountability type of NC. A weak NC will lean towards patronage and factionalism. Under state institution, a strong NC will professionalize the state, administratively speaking.
Yeah.
But a weak NC will politicize
the administration,
the state institutions. Under corruption, it will be isolated incidents under a strong ANC. Under a weak ANC, it will be systematic. And you'll have cabals, you'll have the Zondos and Madanga commissions. In a weak ANC. Economic planning under a strong NC, it will be long-term orientated type of planning. But under weak ANC, definitely it will be reactive governance. Let me qualify the reactive part. You wait for things to break and fix them after they've broken. You will never prevent them
from breaking.
From breakage.
Yeah, you deliberately so.
You wait.
You wait. And sometimes
And sometimes
you break
influence.
or influence the
That
package.
they break.
Yeah.
Public trust under a strong ANC, it will be highly legitimate.
High legitimacy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Under
That's the rule of law.
Under the weak NC, yes. Precisely. Correct. Under the weak NC, it's growing distrust every single day. So that's basically the desktop with a bit of maybe highlighting the fact that in early democracy peak period, early ANC and the current concern, right, is that the growth GDP was around about 4%, remember?
Yes.
We said that, which is Alumbeki era. And now it's in stagnation of less than 1%. The unemployment was at 20% in early 2000s. And now it's officially at 33% plus, or around 33%, right? E-youth unemployment was relatively high, but now it's at 60%.
Imagine that.
It means 60% of the youth is
unemployed.
It's Gini coefficiency, which is inequality, right? We don't have the number, but it was already unequal back then still. So we've been struggling with the inequality part. But much it remains among the world's highest. So it has increased, right? And then corruption perception is that it was low then, it was isolated issues, but significantly trust has declined, it's high. It is not a coincidence we have there, Madanga and the Zondos, back to back.
Back to back.
Example, the supply of electricity through ESCOM, it was stable back then. We had load sheddings recently, right? Municipal performance was better maintained capacity then, and there was less of irresponsible cadre deployment, which now it's ripe. Cadre deployment, reckless. Let me call it reckless cadre deployment. It's at its peak. It was a responsible cadre deployment back then, and it's reckless now. That's basically the contrasts.
Yeah.
So, yeah, closing the desktop. Let's go to 1 minute pitch. Mine, it's the what is the trigger of the decline and the bad performance of the ANC. Let me qualify the trigger. Yeah, so that's my pitch. Trigger it's the moral compass.
Yes.
The incorrect north point.
Yeah.
They followed the wrong.
Yeah, they followed the wrong map.
Yeah, they were going to Egypt and they went to Cape Town.
The compass was dysfunctional. In the beginning, it was like, but it's Tatayona.
So is it?
Yeah, okay, start.
Going. Press now. Yeah, the trigger. I believe the trigger. The trigger is the mechanism that really ignites or set up the bullet to go to the target. The trigger here is cadre deployment. I mean, I've said this before. Is that the term that I've come up with is that there's responsible cadre deployment under any policy, and there's reckless cadre deployment. So the reckless cadre deployment that the ANC subjected itself to, it's the reason why they are facing a decline as it is today. They had the wrong people with no experience and no passion, no political ideology and drive. You know, it's just the people that are able to assure numbers for those that they serve. So patronage is the order of the day through cadre deployment. I thank you.
Hey, right on point, 5 seconds.
Starting
now. I think their moral compass was incorrect from the beginning of the journey, and you can't go through the jungle with a compass that is dysfunctional. And second to that, if you are part of a dysfunctional operation, it means you are also dysfunctional, or it leads to you being part of the dysfunctional operation. You are now unable to separate yourself from dysfunction. So they have normalized things that are not supposed to be normalized, which has led to the snowball effect of the dysfunction is a virus that is incurable. So only the next generation can be a solution to this dysfunction. That's it. this dynamic of dysfunction is not acceptable. Right?
They are not. If you want to respond to that, you have to watch the episode again. So 1 minute pitch is done.
It's done.
Take home.
What's your take home?
Yeah, take home is very interesting. Is that in our attempt to deal with the subject matter, to imagine the ANC, we struggled. I could feel the struggle, and I know the struggle. It's because of the damage that these people have done to us. We can't believe we are here, right? Because let me make an example. We say now we are imagining a working ANC. While imagining it, we're going back to describe how dysfunctioning it is with that passion. We are not. We are not saying
we're passionate about solutions.
Yeah, these are the things that should be happening. We don't even have solutions.
No, we're not passionate about
solutions. Yeah, you put it rightly. There was no passion about solution, but more passion about the disappointment.
Pain. Yes.
So that's my take home, is that these people have damaged us. We are damaged.
Yes. We
can't even imagine a working ANC.
Yeah, that's a realistic point. Which we are damaged, we are wounded.
Yeah,
it's a fact. You can't deny that.
So I don't know if it's beyond recovery or not.
There is no wound that's beyond recovery.
Thank you very much.
I
close my take home as we open yours.
My opening take home is all the pain and the injury that has been caused.
Inflicted.
And that has been inflicted. We need to redirect that pain into purpose,
disappointment,
and focus. Yeah, we need to, that's my take home, Guti. Every time we discuss our views on a subject, right? I'm in a mission to clean myself, sort myself, educate myself, empower myself, inform myself first, in order for me to be able to share that or give that or affect others positively. So all the pain of the ANC, I want to take the whole pain and convert it into purpose. That's the first point. That's my first take home. And then my second take home is that in my daily life, I must stop being part of anything that is dysfunctional, because it would paint me as dysfunctional as well. I'll be tainted.
You know,
with the dysfunctionality.
I might have said this before. There was a time where I was not trolling with Twitter with Steve Combell. I had the same disappointment. Like, I like the guy, and I think I like how
he's thinking.
Yeah, right. And then you can remember when he joined
Chiefs.
Sundowns. Celtics, something. I can't remember. He failed to win a trophy then. The story is that I tweeted Uguti, school, I've got expectations of you winning a trophy. He responded, Uguti, being there is not about winning trophies. Anti-soccer is a competitive sport. There's nothing else. You know? So he was not receiving my disappointment positively. Instead, he wanted to justify why he could not win or why he's not interested in lifting a trophy by himself. Right? Quick one is that I responded to him with, I'm stopping today on seeking a win from others. I will expect it from myself. I'm coming back to your point.
Thank you.
From today onwards, I will never ever expect win from anyone else. I will just watch it. If it does not happen, it does not happen. But I will demand it as I am demanding to you.
I will demand it to myself. It's too painful to want.
I'm agreeing.
I
remember saying
no.
That. Why am I demanding?
I like the way you are thinking, because my pain of expecting people to do right without being told and monitored has brought me to this position of being too hard to myself. With no, when I this is right.
Teach by example.
Teach by example. The right you do,
not by advice.
Not by advice. People will sense, they will connect with the right you do, and
Yeah, no, it's a wrap. School. We don't have to overcook this one. Do what you expect.
I think we've
from
done
others,
justice.
yeah.
I can confidently say
Do what you expect.
we have done justice
Do what you
to this
expect from
discussion.
others. Yeah, that's it.
As we prepare for the landing, our destination is always independent thinking, and we are preparing for landing.
What's the next destination?
The next destination, 0024. Hey, personal development. Hey, I love again.
Yeah.
Personal development.
I feel.
Yeah, that's our.
Yeah, it's an exciting one.
TM024. It's going to be very, very exciting.
Yeah.
We'll be discussing personal development. Please join us on the flight TM024 of personal development.
Yeah.
But right now we are preparing for landing. As always, close your overhead storages, fasten your seatbelt, keep your seat in an upright position as we prepare for the landing.
With that said, remember, be our blesser, and for you to do that, it's simply by clicking the right buttons, and we appreciate the views that we get, right? We don't take them for granted, and we are in the journey of the making SC Vala City. King.